Hello everyone, welcome back to the 20 years of Call of Duty. We're on a new one, it's Call of Duty World War II from 2017. We're now several games into this series, in fact this is the 5th game, out of the planned 8 we have so far. And things are going to take a bit of a turn, as I've sort of talked about previously. I ain't a massive fan of this one. You know, COD Ghost and Advanced Warfare had some moments for me, this one less so. But I'm going to keep the energy up, because I want this to be an enjoyable viewing experience. The whole point is we reminisce on Call of Duty in the past 10 years. I know it's 20 years of Call of Duty, but the last 10 years are more fascinating to do, because if I did the first 10 years, it would just be, this game's class, this game's class, this game's class. So we've got to do the good and the bad. And I consider this one to be the bad. This main theme's kind of grown on me, though. It's quite an heroic theme. But yeah, we're back to basics. After all the future stuff we've been doing in the past 3, Advanced Warfare, of course. It's back to basics. We're back to 1944 France. And I put out a little poll deciding whether we do the D-Day level or one of the others, and I think people have sort of decided we'll do D-Day, so it's going to be D-Day. I think we kind of have to do it the first level as well. It's quite an iconic moment, and I've got plenty to talk about with this level, because, I don't even like this level. And a lot of people do. A lot of people really praise this level, and I'm going to shatter all them conceptions that people have got. Let's just check our audio. I have already turned it down. We don't want any infinite warfare scenarios. What have I done there? I've pressed the wrong button. That's what I've done. It'd be good if I could actually start the thing, wouldn't it? That's the one. No, don't quit. Mission select. Right, D-Day it is.
June 6, 1944. D-Day. We're invading Normandy. About to take France back from the Nazis.
The Nazis. So, veteran it is, guys. We are carrying on. There are no special difficulties on this one. And we'll let you learn a bit of history.
With unmatched ferocity, Hitler's war machine has launched its blitzkrieg against Western Europe, pushing it to the brink. As we brace for our darkest hour, we must summon our strength to be the bulwark against oppression. The Nazi onslaught will be the greatest test we'll ever face. But with our allies, face it and defeat it we must.
So we're back with Sledgehammer, guys. Their first outing since Advanced Warfare. So instead of doing Advanced Warfare, they decided to do World War II. Which they had actually asked fans if that's what they wanted to do. I distinctly remember the tweet, actually.
This day we set upon a mighty endeavor, a struggle to preserve our civilization and to set free a suffering humanity. Our sons, pride of our nation, lead them straight and true. Their road will be long and hard. Men's souls will be shaken with the violences of war. In this hour of great sacrifice, we shall prevail.
I forgot that this intro basically spoils all the operations you'll be doing. But yeah, we're starting with D-Day. It's a good way to start a World War II game. At least it was in 2002, when World War II was still fresh.
Paul, it's June 6, 1944.
By 2017, some of us that had been around first time weren't so fussed.
Beach I'm not supposed to even know the name of. Also, we can take back France.
Omaha, mate. Oh, it's Omaha, Utah. I'll have to look at that. I can't, which one are we on? We're Rangers, aren't we? So it's got to be Omaha, hasn't it?
So he asked me for my watch, and I'm thinking, what the hell do you want my watch for? You're the captain of the goddamn football team.
So we're going to try and do some of that Band of Brothers banter.
And they're all on the boat with me. Everybody's scared as hell, but nobody's letting on. I hated Zussman the first week of basic, but now
we're not Rangers, sorry. We're Big Red 1, aren't we?
He's always
fighting first.
If there wasn't already a war on, he'd be off trying to start one.
Besides, I gotta keep all my
Those guys started in Africa.
Styles says he's gonna be a photographer for Life magazine. Kind of looks like Clark Kent said when he takes off his glasses, the only thing that happens is he can't see shit. Aiello's the vet, but being honest, he's what Ma would call a bit of a rube.
Okay. Let's make this more interesting.
So the problem with all of that right there is that it's a classic example of
He's at my
telling and not showing.
Sussman 3 times in 10 seconds, and he's all yours.
I don't know.
Oh, you could always
But we're
push.
going to have another Call of Duty where they really struggle
My
to get
money's
you
on
to
Zussman.
care too much about these characters.
Okay. I'm in.
I can't watch.
Zussman's kind of cool, but the other two, Styles here and
Back to my story.
what is it,
Me
Ariello?
and my boys, we muscle our
They're
way into
less
the
so.
game.
They're kind of forgettable.
We worked out a system where they can signal to me everybody's
Your
hand.
two COs though, easy to remember, Turner and Pearson, because there's a bit of a dynamic there. It's very cliche and dull, but it's memorable.
Now. You get flushed.
No freaking.
Aiello had enough fight in him for 2 men,
Aiello, sorry.
Shake hands with a Jew.
That's not what she said last night.
and enough bigotry for 6.
Man, who needs a stupid pendant anyway?
Apparently you did.
Yeah. I'm gonna get me something better. A real trophy, you'll see.
Good luck with that.
Oh! Briefing's at 1800. We're gonna be late.
I got us covered, Daniels.
One thing you'll notice, the cutscenes are in 30 FPS. It's really strange. But here's Pearson.
Then there's Sergeant Pearson.
That looks like
Real
Staff Sergeant to me.
think you're special, huh? The
Going
crowds
off the
are gonna get your
insignia.
lunch.
Now, not our lunch, Sergeant. Our lunch is secure.
Watch your lips, Zussman. On me.
Since I'm obviously on a lucky streak, whatever happens, stay close. First Normandy, then the Rhine. We got this, Daniels.
So, there's quite a few things to sum up here, because this game is significant in many ways. First of all, it's probably the dumbest title in the series, and it started this whole just calling the game what period it's set in, which I really don't care for. It worked for Modern Warfare back in 2007, because you've got to understand the gaming landscape in 2007. It was endless World War II games like this. We were all very sick of it. So the calling it Modern Warfare had this instant impact. You were like, oh, Call of Duty's new. It ain't World War II anymore. It's finally moving on.
If we prevail, our triumph will be etched into the hearts and minds of a grateful world for untold generations. I'm talking about glory, gentlemen. True glory.
Colonel Davis sure can give a nice speech. His pep talk reminded me of the one Coach Johnson gave us on our Thanksgiving Day game versus Austin. I'm sure you remember we lost that game by 42 points.
Daniels is an interesting character, and there's this strange thing where he's writing to his brother. Now, you guys won't see the conclusion of that story arc, but it's a bit of a waste.
He's got him on a tight
There's a bit of a
leash.
twist with it, but the twist gets revealed about 30 seconds before the game ends.
We'll all get bit.
So it don't really work. For further details, watch the Rivik video. He does an excellent video on Call of Duty World War II. And he called it the worst campaign at the time, because it was the first one that had nothing particularly interesting. At least Advanced Warfare had the one level with throttle, and the other games had something going for them. This is kind of the first one that didn't. Again, I'll try not to be too negative, but I'm going to call it as it is. But we're going to get going. Relatively long intro. I think the levels are a little shorter in this one.
Hey, I wish I was coming home to her.
Yeah, just wait till we hit Paris.
Seems like a long way off.
Remember, no digging in at the shore. Gotta advance.
So I've got a bit of reverence for anything D-Day related in video games, because one of my earliest gaming memories is a game called Medal of Honor Frontline. Massive game on PS2, and that first level was on D-Day. Much like this,
Anywhere.
and that just did it so much better than what we're going to see here.
All right, give him hell, boys.
And also, Medal of Honor Allied Assault did an excellent D-Day level,
Sound scared, Private.
and that was hard as hell, and this one tries to be like that. And there was a lot of comparisons at the time, because that was like the height of gaming in 2002, or was it 2001 that, sorry. And everyone was comparing it to this game and saying how much better it is in World War II, and I went, it might look a hell of a lot better, but to play it, it's the same. And in fact, I think it was better in Allied Assault. It felt like a real grind to get off the beach. In this game, it's pretty much over after, is it a minute or so? I mean, I may well die here, because you've got to time it correctly, and if I'm with me doing commentary, I might not be focused on it enough. We better get down, haven't we? Because we are actually in control here. But if there's any of the younger audience about, I'd be interested to hear your thoughts. You might not feel the vitriol and the hate towards this game that I do. As someone who's a how do you phrase this without being corny, sort of a veteran of these World War II games from the 6th generation of video gaming. And including the 5th as well with PS1 with Medal of Honor on that. This just wasn't interesting. I think it was the fact that they decided to do World War II but nothing new. It was the exact same battles we'd already done. D-Day, Battle of the Bulge, the Rhine. We'd done it all so many times in Call of Duty already. Everybody ready, our favourite line's back. This is less memeable, this Call of Duty. But yeah, they try and really push this Pearson's mental angle, which is tired and boring. Oh my god, the horror. Basically, this is where the devs are like, we've seen Saving Private Ryan, have you? But I think this game just showed you can put your game in World War II, but that ain't going to make it great. You've still got to make a good game.
Get your head down and keep moving! Daniel, on me!
But here we go, keep moving. We're on the beaches, we've got the M1 Garand, we will in a second.
Take the Bangalore and get
So you'll recognise Turner, he was in COD Ghosts, he was also in Medal of Honor, the latest two that were modern day. And he was also Tommy in The Last of Us.
This is what you trained for! Now pick up that
He must be doing another Call of Duty at this point. That guy's lost an arm. So we have got dismemberment, but nobody ever does it better than World at War.
Yes, sir!
I always thought World at War didn't really show it and you shove it in your face. I mean, it was always there, but you never had a cutscene where you were looking at some guy's arm missing. Right, here we go. So we've got to time our running between reloads of the guns. It's as simple as that. It's what Allied Assault did. This might have been a dumb move. Let's go. Get a red down. We have so you'll notice, first thing right off the bat, we have no health regeneration. We're on health packs. Let's go now. As I say, I may well die here. It's not the easiest thing in the world, this. But that automatically makes the game a little bit more challenging. But we just follow Turner here. I don't even think we really have to... Oh no, talking rubbish. I should have hid behind that. Is it a half track there? Half track truck? Alright, just hang on a minute. Guns are firing. Now, right? No, my timer was actually off there, but... I'll follow Pearson. He's told me to run. We know Pearson's mental, but... Just got whacked then, did Pearson. Hang on, guns are going. This is probably the most interesting moment, but again, I played Allied Assault in 2001. This isn't that interesting to me. Right, did put like the stop there. Pearson likes to really go when I don't feel like it's safe. Yeah, definitely wasn't safe then. Right, I'm going now. I say I can't provide. I'm just going to get through this and then I'll start talking more about the game again. Get down here. The gun's out firing. Let's take a chance. So that was no damage apart from my first time when I died.
Daniel, use the banger. I'll cover you.
So rather than just being a cutscene, we're going to get some interesting quick time events here where you just have to line the camera up.
We're almost there.
So you get people who will say, oh, it's really cool how the character like drops the Bangalore, but all I think is it's just taking longer for me to play the game. And that's my really cynical view of video games these days, but I care very little for all this. Oh, it's so immersive how he dropped the Bangalore when he was trying to put it together. I'd just rather he put it together and I got back to shooting. Because when we're shooting, it's Call of Duty, so we're going to have fun. And it's always intense to get into the trenches. That's what we want. I think there'll be an enemy right here, won't there? Yep. So we're about to shoot the Germans. Not the first time in this series, we kind of did it in Black Ops 3. The thing to enjoy about this game is, of course, the fact that you have never seen these guns with animation so smooth, with fidelity like this. You know, we've all seen the M1 Garand and the Grease gun and the MP40, but we've never seen them look so good and have animation so buttery smooth. But there's a lot more to it than that. And I think my fear always was with Call of Duty going back to World War II was they were just going to stick it in World War II and be like, oh, it's a great game again, but you've got to put a bit more effort in than that. And as soon as the first level was D-Day, I was a bit like, And as soon as it said you were fighting as the Big Red One, I thought, well, I've done that in literally a game called Call of Duty 2 Big Red 1.
Here we go.
So there'll be nothing particularly new for me. But we'll get into some of my other flaws with this game, but let's, for now, just enjoy the shooting. There is one level in this game that I do really enjoy, which I will wax lyrical about that mission for the most part. So let's get down here. The grease gun will probably serve me better here. World War II setting also has some interesting things in terms of its weaponry, just due to the fact of the setting. You can't just run around with an M4 anymore and just mow people down that are good for all situations. You've got to have different weapons for different situations. Like here in the trenches, this grease gun and the MP40 are going to be a hell of a lot better than the Kar 98 or the M1 Garand. Those weapons still have some use, but they're not as useful. So the health pack system is pretty simple. We all know how it works. You just got to pick them up through the map, but you also see Zussman's symbol. If I get enough kills, he'll throw me them. And each character in your squad has different abilities. It's a kind of an attempt for you to get to know the characters. But yeah, I just wonder if you're younger and you didn't play Call of Duty or gaming much in the early 90s because you were either not born or too young, you might enjoy this game a lot more because to you it's brand new. And they did talk about that a lot, did the developers, how they wanted to bring World War II to a new generation. And that's kind of fair enough. But all I'll say is you didn't get what we got. Those games were so much... Ow. Those games of old were so much better. If you're on Xbox One, you play Xbox at all, I highly recommend just getting yourself Call of Duty World at War on backwards compatible, buy it cheap on 360, and give that a play over the weekend, if you never have done before. That is a true World War II game. I also kind of consider it the last World War II game to an extent. Ow. I think I got blown up there, didn't I? We better use some health. Yeah, the only way to get your abilities back is to simply kill enemies or perform heroic actions. There are 2 in this mission. I might have missed some already, possibly. Because, of course, it'll say 2 out of 2 from when I last played. And you could also play Call of Duty 2 on backwards compatible, and that is one of the best games of all time. That is the best FPS World War II shooter, I would probably say. It's probably actually better overall than World at War. Call of Duty 2 is phenomenal, and it has got a D-Day level, although you're doing the different beaches. You're playing as the Rangers there. I'm sure you're playing as the Rangers in that one, and you're at Point de Hoc, which is one of the most bombed places in the world. You can actually go visit, I think. So the rifle will be better here, but I've kind of used all my ammo like an idiot. Listen, the game's not the worst thing ever, but I'll say that much now. Let's have some positivity. The game's not dreadful. But this game kind of got more famous for kind of some of the stupidness that it started putting in with the multiplayer. Unfortunately, by 2017, and I'm not going to get too like political or socially talking, but the world has started to change a bit by 2017, and the multiplayer was kind of famous for having Nazis that would be black, women, and stuff like that. And that kind of took up a lot of the game's publicity. And I always remember GameSpot or IGN's review that criticised the game for only having 2 genders in the multiplayer. Look at the state of that. Like that looks stupid. Look at that. It's just red. Man. You see, he did that in World at War. You'd hear the helmet crack and everything. And that's what I mean by that game being better. But yeah, I remember playing this first level and being a bit like, I'm not feeling it. And I was kind of hoping I would, because I was like, well, it's World War II, I should enjoy it. But I kind of prefer it when we're going, at least doing something different. You know, when it's Infinite Warfare, I've never seen that before. I've never flown spaceships in Call of Duty, and it's got its issues. That don't make it automatically good, and we tackled a lot of those issues when we played it, but I never know when friendlies are going to be around. I keep hearing a German. It's always good to hear them familiar shouts like Achtung and Helfer or whatever. Right, let's move forward here. Back to the Grease Scum.
MGs are still sweeping the beach.
I don't think the Grease Scum was actually around by June 1944. You'll obviously have noticed that I'm a little bit of a World War II nut. I'm sure the Grease Scum was late 1944, more around the Market Garden time. So here's an heroic action.
You hurt? I'm good.
You've just got to say, it's basically these like moments that prop up, and you've just got to act quickly, and that fills your teammates' meter up immediately. So it's sometimes worth doing. It's usually something like that, like a teammate or a friendly soldier's going to be killed, and you just get in there and save them. But yeah, they definitely shouldn't have just done the generic World War II stuff. They should have done the Eastern Front and Japan. Not the Eastern Front, sorry, not Russia. We've seen enough of that, but they should have really done something with the Japanese. Because we've barely had much Japanese content. It's always a forgotten theatre in Pacific, but it's a particularly brutal one. And it's always a bit more interesting because the Japanese fought... Oh god, I'm dead. The Japanese fought a very different war to the Germans, and that makes gameplay a hell of a lot more thrilling. You know, with the bonsai charges and all that. So I'd have from my point of view, I'd have done something more with that, along them lines. I'm not a fan of the fact the turret seemed to shoot through me there. Right. Because it shouldn't do that, right? That's what I'm doing here. You'll notice I have no auto-aiming on Veteran, that's one of the little changes here. But I remember reading, I think on the Call of Duty Wiki, there's like a review of Veteran, every Veteran difficulty in the series, and one said that World War II is automatically one of the hardest ones because it sticks no health packs. To which I would say I don't agree. Just because it's got health packs and your health doesn't regenerate doesn't make it that much harder. Germans are quite quick to react, which can make it tough, but there's health packs are plentiful. It's not Call of Duty 1 where on Veteran they get rid of health packs so you basically can't take damage the whole level, and you also won't get checkpoints if your health's not high enough, so you can end up doing a whole level in one run. Okay, so let me get into my first big gripe. Look at this, I just saw that gun. Why the hell is there a PPSH-41 here? Yes, you have got a World War II game, but that doesn't mean you can just put Russian weapons in Germany. Now, you could argue that some Germans would have kept that as a souvenir from the Eastern Front. Yeah, but I think there's like, you can find this weapon around the map, plentiful. How many of these we got? I think there's 5, isn't there? But having said that, I'm going to use the PPSH-41 because I love it. Although this isn't the drum mag version, it doesn't carry 71 bullets.
Next assault wave ain't gonna make it.
So we're going to get prone here.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, I always thought World at War on Veteran was easier than Modern Warfare 1 by sheer virtue that some Germans... Oh god, I'm dead. Some Germans used a Kar-98 and the Kar-98 didn't kill you in one hit. You could survive a few hits of that weapon. But then if enemies used an MP40, they could kill you pretty quick. But then when you got to COD 4, everyone had an AK-47 and could rapid fire you. But you can always survive a bolt action on World at War. But you can't survive an MP40, so you'd always be dreading enemies with MP40s, and you'd kind of fancy yourself against a German with a Kar-98 or a Japanese guy with a Arisaka. But as soon as they started getting Gewehr 43s and STGs, you were like, get away from me.
Yes, sir.
My favourite World War II gun is the STG-44, and I can't remember if that features heavily in this game or not. But I love the STG-44, and that comes from Medal of Honor, that. My love of that weapon, because you pretty much by the end of Medal of Honor Frontline, you were pretty much using that gun exclusively. Flamethrower? Is he going to get shot? Yep. He didn't explode. That's a rarity. But yeah, I always like to imagine, I always wonder what they would have thought, them bosses at Activision, when... Ah, shit. Tried to be cheeky then. I always wonder what the Activision bosses must have thought when they... Oh, does it want to use the flamethrower? I don't know how useful this is. Have that. World at War had an excellent flamethrower section. Again, play that game. But what was the point I was making? No, I remember now. Yeah, imagine those Activision bosses when They were like, oh yeah, we can't wait for our next Call of Duty. It's going to be World War II. Everyone's going to be happy. Back to basics. That's what we want. And then EA released that Battlefield trailer. They must have been fuming. They must have thought, for fuck's sake, they've just stolen our thunder. Oh, German. Yeah, there you go. There's another PPSH 41 there, so we can keep using it. But yeah, I don't know how much... They had a decent length of time to work on this game, and it's an incredibly short campaign. That really struck me when I was going through the levels to pick. I thought, there ain't many levels here, and some of these levels aren't that long. This one's a decent length. But yeah, a lot of this is quite short. You'd have thought, calling it World War II, they might have been tempted to throw some Russian missions in there, some British missions. The British do appear in this campaign, but you never play as them. You only play as Daniels. And it's kind of strange, because Call of Duty's whole stick was, back in the glory days, when it first started, it wasn't just going to show the American side of things, because that was Medal of Honor. It was called Medal of Honor for a reason. That's, you know, America's highest honor. You only played as the Americans, apart from Medal of Honor Underground, where you played as a French resistance. But I think you were still part of the OSS, which was America's unit at the time. That did all the special operations. But Call of Duty was like, no, you can play as British, Russian, American, you can play as all these guys. And you got a unique perspective on the war. And I always enjoyed those Call of Duties, because they always felt like they were trying to teach you a bit of history. And that's something I feel like this one misses. I never felt like it was trying to inform you that much. So it was always interesting when they talked about they wanted to show a newer generation of people World War II and get them into it, but I didn't feel like this one had the care or attention to really go into World War II like those ones did. Don't get me wrong, those games weren't realistic, COD 1 and 2 and 3, but they kind of always had a precursor of historical footage and were like, oh, I've killed him. Lol. So I failed that heroic action. I had a grenade, I don't know why I didn't use it. The music's also not as cool as World at War, sorry. This is all very dark, moody, atmospheric music, but World at War was always so cool and different, because it had like heavy rock and heavy metal and stuff, which was not typical of World War II, but it fit that game so well. So much World War II was, World at War, sorry, was just perfect. If that game had not had so much cut content, and like cutting the British campaign, that honestly, that game would have been a solid 10 out of 10. As it stands, it's like a 9 out of 10, just for being a little too short and a little underbaked. But when your only criticism of a game is it's too short, you've not done too bad.
Clear the last bunker. Rally at the top of the bluff, and for fuck's sakes, don't get yourselves killed.
You know what's interesting? If you ever play Call of Duty 1, 2, or 3, there's like no swearing. That was kind of the standard at the time.
One more. We got this, Daniel.
All the swearing was kind of reserved for GTA games. So we've got some snippers up there. Ow. Please don't shoot me, because I'm nearly dead. You just got to make sure you don't get overzealous when you're on low health. Oh. I'm not going to have any cool shields to activate in this one. I don't have any abilities. The only abilities I have are my squad mates. But that was my only thing with sticking it back in World War II. You felt like you lost a lot of interesting things that we gained. It was one of my big worries actually when the game came out.
Here we go.
Quick time events. I never care for these. Just mash the button like normal. Call of Duty World War 3 had a lot of sections. Call of Duty 3 had a lot of sections like these, and they've not really improved much since then. Oh, what button do I press? Circle. Again, did you watch Saving Private Ryan? Because there you go. I actually can't watch that bit in Saving Private Ryan. It's too rough for me. When the guy with the knife fight. That was a kind of cool sequence though, it's very brutal.
Come here, buddy.
Now, here's a section I don't like.
Oh shit.
because it's bloody
Get me
tough.
the fuck out of here.
We're gonna get you out of here. Stay with me.
So, Call of Duty had changed a lot since it last went to World War II, even in 2008. Now we had all these cool quick time sequences and crazy moments. Gaming had changed a lot since then.
On your left.
And you didn't have moments like these in the old Call of Duties, but this one's going to add it. But there isn't much to this.
We gotta take cover. How many? So many.
Where's the other guy? Ah, I may have copped this.
Shit.
Ah, if you get it wrong, you're dead. I know it's bloody obvious, but you don't get many second tries with that. Trick is just not to panic, really.
How many? So many.
That was the thing for me with this level. I always felt like I could do it kind of I can do it pretty perfect, but
Come on.
this section I always die here.
I'm losing too much blood. Hang in there. Keep your head down.
So you just got to look for bodies in the smoke. It's not much to it.
They keep coming.
There you go, nice and easy. Trick, just don't panic here if you're playing it on veteran. See, normally in Call of Duty, you're the guy getting dragged back, aren't you, and covering fire.
Fuck! We can get down here. I got you.
Got him. Thankfully, they go down in one hit because the Colt M1911 is a pretty beastly weapon. I've cocked up here. Oh, for God's sake! I didn't know how to reload. Sometimes it does feel like you need to have played the level once already or tried it once because you need to know who shoots first, basically. Yeah, if you don't hit him first, I'm done.
Man, I'm bleeding out. Just keep pressure on it. Almost there. Come on up here. Move.
There we go. Nice one though. We have survived.
Okay, stay with me. Medic! I need morphine. You gotta hang on. Those girls in Paris are waiting for you. Really? Of course they are.
If you ever want to play two very different games back to back that kind of link quite well, play any sort of World War II game followed by LA Noire, because LA Noire set in 1947. I once actually did that. I did Call of Duty World at War and LA Noire back to back, and it actually made World at War, LA Noire, so much better because your character in that game has got back from the Pacific Theatre and has become a detective, obviously, the LAPD. And it links a lot to like morphine and your military unit and all these flashbacks and how people suffered after the war. It works really well. I just wanted to mention that if anybody's ever interested.
You'll take care of him. I need you with me, Daniels. Listen up! There's a GPF cannon by the farmhouse up the road. It's tearing up the beach. Let's move! We'll come back for you.
So I always get a Mandela effect with this game. I always think that when you drag Zussman, that's the end of the level, but no, there's a little bit more.
I need more ammo, Lieutenant. It's here, Private.
So here's an ability I really dislike. Turner's ability is ammo. Now the problem with that, I know what you're thinking, what's the problem here? But trust me, I've got a point here. When you can just pick up ammo, kind of whenever you want, it really de-incentivizes you to pick up different weapons and experiment. You can get far too comfortable, and I'm terrible for this. I'll get far too comfortable using a specific gun, and I'll never switch, and it kind of stops you ever having those moments where you're like, oh, let's use the Kar 98 because it might be different. Gonna use some smoke grenades here. Smoke grenades are the real top weapon of World War II games. They always have been. There's certainly war in World War II on veteran. You basically, to survive on veteran, it was use those smoke grenades well. Let's get health back in here. Right, there'll be an enemy up here, I know there will. There's always a sniper in a barn. In fact, sometimes there's a few. So, an MG42, the last thing you ever want to do on Veteran is get on that. In any Call of Duty, that's general rule of thumb. If you can avoid getting on a turret, avoid it, because they just melt you. You've got no cover. You're better off doing it slow like this. You know what, let's pick up this Kar 98. I never use the Kar 98. I've never cared for it in a World War II game. Probably because you've actually got to be good at the game to use it. So I'll use it very briefly here. I remember this one you have to reload. It's well annoying. I've cocked up here. I've cocked up. I've cocked up. Can I get off this? As soon as I get hit, I'm getting off it. Oh, sod this. Yep. Get used to hearing that. They kind of don't leave you alone when you have your abilities. Obviously, don't be stupid and throw a smoke grenade and cover an enemy's advance. I used to be a right idiot for that when I was a kid. I'd always throw smoke grenades when enemies were advancing at you, and I was like, what am I doing? I'm literally covering an enemy's advance. There'll be some kind of special moron. I was like, use the smoke grenades when you're advancing, not when the enemy's advancing. It's incredible how stupid you can be as a child. While also still doing some of these games on really hard difficulties. I don't know how I fumbled through them looking back half the time. Oh! Oh, that's a friend. Badger broke his leg. That's more war crimes. Call of Duty World War II crimes. Nothing's going to beat Infinite War crimes, because I just went into a building and threw grenades in, and that was it. Where are all the Germans? Don't say Germany. Ah, easy. Get retreating. I'm going to shoot you in the back because I love war crimes. Let's go. Am I the only one who's not a massive fan when you have a health pack system of putting big red markers on the screen? Like, visually I know I'm damaged because it's there on the bottom left. Interesting, because like PS2 games never did that. It's kind of really a modern gaming thing. COD 4 started all that, putting red all over your screen.
Fire in the hole! Take some ammo,
I'll tell you what, just to shut you up. Throw me ammo, thank you.
All right, fellas, rally on me to the assembly point.
Let's go.
But that is the end of the level, guys, pretty much. We'll just go back to the rally point.
I'll need a casualty report. We lost so many.
When we took the beach.
Paid a damn high price.
So yeah, Pearson's like the secondary villain of the story. Obviously the Nazis are the main ones.
I thought I'd seen everything.
He gonna be all right?
Yeah. He taped them up pretty good.
Should have stayed on the boat.
Oh, now he tells us.
Hey, what you did back there, I owe you.
I'd say we're even.
We'll see this through.
To the end?
To the end. Beachhead secured. We'll bivouac at the second hedgerow after the ridge.
Welcome to the bloody first. You're a long way from Texas, farm boy.
None of us could have prepared for that. But you came through when it counted. Thanks, sir. You'll be all right, son. Thank you. Yes, sir. Of course, I will.
So I'll rag on the game a lot, but that's very good. And that little moment there where his hands are shaking, this may sound very minuscule, but games couldn't do that 10 years earlier. And that's one of the few moments where you're like, oh, it's sometimes worth doing this on future technology.
One thing, they weren't on the beach with us this morning.
But yeah, that's one of the few times I'll be like, yeah, fair play, that was worth doing. But yeah, that was D-Day, guys, the first level, the opening level. I've got problems with it. It's an okay level, but I just think you could play so much better. You could even do the Peleliu Island mission on Call of Duty World at War. That's going to be my main takeaway when I play in this. I'm just going to say, play World at War. Honestly, if you're watching this and you never played that one because you were too young, or you just went into Call of Duty back then, and you've played this game and you thought, it was pretty good, do yourself a favour. If you've got Xbox One or Xbox of any kind, buy Call of Duty World at War for Xbox 360 at a cheap price and play for that campaign. It'll only take you a couple of days at most, but you'll have a blast. Fantastic game. But the next level we will do is actually going to be a positive one. I'm going to do Liberation. That's a level I really like. I really like that level, and I'll be a lot more positive on that one. It'll be the most positive I get in this game. And if you can't guess my title, we're going to liberate Paris in this one. But we've only just landed because it's only June 1944. But I'll see you for Liberation, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope I wasn't too negative. I hope you enjoyed it. I noticed I didn't stop talking on this one for once, so I hope you liked my voice, because you got a lot of it. You've definitely turned off by now if you didn't, so if you're still here, you obviously don't mind it. But thanks for watching, guys, as always. I'll see you next time.